Hi, this is Heath from vMix. In this video, you're going to meet TJ, a vMix replay master who's been producing high-end sports broadcasts all over the US for a stack of years. This is part one, where he'll get you up and running with vMix replay. And in part two, he'll show you how he personally uses it to prepare and pass replay events and packages from his vMix production truck to an overarching production switcher. So, let us know in the comments if you find these videos helpful, and enjoy.
Hi, my name is TJ Thompson and I am the owner of iMint Media, a video production company based on the Georgia coast. We're in our video production trailer today where we've helped clients like Twitch and ESPN. We're going to be looking at vMix Replay, and the first place we're going to start is at vmix.com. Once on vmix.com, we're going to go to the Reference Systems page. We want to check out a system that can house our vMix Replay instance. vMix has conveniently put together multiple reference systems. We're going to be looking at the Ruby and the Diamond system. The Ruby system is capable of bringing in 4 HD replay cameras. You can see right down here it says 4 HD 1080p cameras at 100 megabits a second. This means that this system would be capable of bringing in 4 cameras and outputting 2. Let's take a look at the specs of this machine. If we scroll down, we'll see that the graphics card in this machine is an NVIDIA GeForce RTX 3060 Ti, and the CPU is an Intel i7 12700KF. These specs will change over time as technology develops, so you can always go back to this page and reference the most up-to-date systems. One thing you may notice when you're looking at this system is these specs seem eerily similar to gaming laptops. Can you run replay on a gaming laptop? Yes. Will it be supported or recommended by vMix? No. If you plan to go that route, please do tons of testing to make sure that your setup works correctly. In my experience, I would suggest building out a PC in a portable case versus a laptop. Let's take a look at the Diamond system now. This is where we're getting into 4K replay, up to 8 channels. Doing 4K replay is only recommended up to 2 channels. It's a lot of data passing through your machine, so just know that if you're looking for a 4K route, 1 to 2 inputs is about the max that you're going to want to try. With their Diamond system though, this is capable of bringing in 8 1080p cameras, which is fantastic. It's got a 3080 Ti in it, and they're recommending an Intel Core i9. These are just 2 reference systems that vMix has rigorously tested and has been proven to work up to these specifications. Now, you could build your own machine. We've built 2 vMix machines in the rack case right there using 4U server cases. We've sourced parts from various vendors, but we've adhered very closely to these standards set by vMix. Let's jump into vMix and actually set up a replay project. The first thing we want to do inside of vMix is to make sure that our project settings are set correctly. So if you go into the Settings tab, you'll notice that our project master frame rate is 5994 with an output size of 1920 by 1080. You get the best performance if you match your project frame rate and resolution to your camera frame rate and resolution. I say camera, you can bring in an SRT source, a full NDI source, as well as a SDI or HDMI source, but you want to make sure that all of the resolutions and frame rates match for optimal performance. Diving back into vMix, I know that I want my project to be 1080 5994, so that all looks great. I'm going to click OK. I've got my 4 cameras in here, and I'm going to go down to Add Input. When you click on Add Input, you'll see the Instant Replay tab right below the Stream SRT button. We're going to select that, and it's going to bring up a bunch of options for us to move through. When setting up a replay project, we have found that we get the best results if we have our operating system on one drive and our replay session on another drive. We use solid state drives in all of our machines, and we've encountered no problems. I would definitely recommend having your replay session stored on a separate drive that is not tied to the OS. So let me show you how to set that up. In the session folder, we're going to click Browse. For us, it's our E drive and then replay sessions. We have a folder where we keep all of our replay sessions. That way, if we need to clean up the drive or delete a project, we know exactly where it's located. I'm going to create a new folder in this drive. We're going to call it demo. And we're going to click select folder. Now our replay session has been set up for our E drive, replay sessions, demo. We now want to go to our recording format. We're going to make sure this matches our session. So we want to click 1080p, 5994, and then we can select our quality. If you notice right now the quality is set to HQ, vMix is telling me that I will have 1 hour and 37 minutes of record time available for 4 cameras if I select HQ. That's going to be at a bit rate of 288 megabits a second. For this project, I'm going to go to low quality. That's going to give me almost 5 hours of record time for 4 cameras at 96 megabits a second. When choosing your record quality, I've really found not a huge difference on the transmission side. I tend to go with the low quality, and once everything goes through the compression of a YouTube stream or even the record quality, I really don't notice a huge difference. So for me, I would rather have the space and the time versus the quality. Now, your mileage may vary. You may want to ISO record all of these cameras using the replay system, so you may want to select the SQ or HQ option. That definitely will give you a better quality, but just know it's going to take up a lot of space. Below our record time, you'll see that there is a disk space used by session. This will tell you the total amount of space being used by your replay project. And if you want to clean things up, you can just hit delete all. So if you had a previous game that you recorded and you open up the same project again, it's going to tell you, hey, this is using 100 gigs or 200 gigs. Well, if you don't need any of that, you can hit delete all and all of that goes away. There's also a tick box right underneath that says you can automatically delete prior video when disk space is full. That means if you hit the limit of your hard drive and it fills up in the middle of a game, it'll actually start deleting the files that you recorded first to give you more space. It's a good way to kind of have a safety mechanism if you're not sure you have enough space to make it through a game. Of course, it'd always be best to make sure you have enough space on your hard drive. Next is going to be our camera selections. This machine has a DeckLink quad input card where we can select our camera sources. I'm going to just do a 2-camera demo today, so I'm going to select input 1 and input 2 on our quad card. Next, we're going to choose our playback audio source. This will allow us to choose what audio we want to listen to when we actually play out a replay event. That can be the audio that's on a camera, or it could be the mixed audio. Let's say you want to record program, or if you just want to have the under basket net mic from a camera, this is where you would set that up. We're going to actually choose the follow option. When you select follow, this will allow your audio to follow each camera as you play it out. So if you play a replay from camera 1, you'll hear the embedded audio from camera 1. If you play camera 2 as a replay output, it's going to play the audio from the embedded source on camera 2. Next up, we have our in and out transitions and our event transition. These are a drop-down tab that will give you all of the transitions available inside of vMix. We're actually going to use a stinger input for this on our in transition and our out transition. Now, your in transition is when you play a replay event to the output. When you send it out to the world, this is the transition it's going to use to get to that replay event. And then once the replay event's finished, it's going to use the out transition to get back into whatever you have located in preview. So we're going to make that a stinger, as this is being set up as a traditional sports broadcast. Our event transition, we're going to leave at fade, and I'm going to actually bring the time down to 200 milliseconds. This will create a fade in between each replay clip. So if we play out 1, 2, 3 clips, there'll be a 200 millisecond fade in between each one of those clips, which is perfect. I also want to tick this box, this match replay speed. I want to make sure that's not ticked. So don't tick that. If you were to tick that, it would stretch out your fade transition. So if you were using the speed control to slow that replay clip down to 50%, now your milliseconds of fade transition got that much longer. Everything here looks great, so we're gonna click OK. And just like that, we've created a new replay session. You can see that we have demo A and demo B right here in our inputs list. Now, the first thing you may see is they're black. We don't see any cameras. Well, that's because we haven't hit record yet. I'm gonna put channel A in the preview window, and then I'm gonna hit record. And just like that, we have video. You can see that the video is frozen. We just see a still frame. Well, there's a couple other options now that we've selected and created our replay event that we're gonna wanna look at. So we're gonna hit the cogwheel here, and we're gonna go to options. You'll notice here that it says show live sources in replay A and B when in live mode. I wanna see my live sources in the replay, so I'm gonna select that button. Show preview of all camera angles when not in live mode is our next option. Yeah, I actually do want to see all of those when we're not in live mode. And then the last one that was selected is play audio when speed is below 100%. I don't like that. You may like the sound of a wow, low audio when you're playing back your replay session, but for my applications, I don't like that. So I'm actually gonna uncheck that box so that the speed there'll be no audio, there'll be no sound if we slow a clip down. And we're gonna click OK, and let's watch what happens. Wow, now we've got live cameras in our replay channel A and replay channel B. Now let's go over all of the replay controls and create an actual replay event. There's two sections that you can find replay controls. The first are in the smaller input window. Let's look at those first. You'll see in the middle we have a speed control, which is this fader bar. We have a record button. This -5 and -10 are mark last 5 and last 10 second replay events. So if I was to select that button, it's gonna make an out point when I click the button and an in point 5 seconds earlier. And the same for 10 seconds. So it's actually creating an event backwards in time. The next, this little circled arrow inside of a play button will play our last event, and then of course our cogwheel will get to all of our settings. But if you notice over here on the right, there's a new instant replay tab. Let's click on that. This now pops open a whole new list of features. There's a pin button in the corner. If we click that, it will actually make it full screen. Now my monitors were on by default, but yours may be off. It may look like this. You can always turn your replay monitors on by selecting the monitor button and have this nice large view. There's actually even a replay multi-view that you can use as a standalone operator, but we're gonna treat this as a one-man band example and go over that multi-view in a later video. For now, I'm going to shrink this back down to the pinned view. So you can see here we have some of the same controls that we have in our smaller section. We have mark in and out buttons. We have our -5, -10, -20. We have an A and B channel selection buttons, as well as a A and B link button. Our camera selections. We have another record button, a play button. We even have a play events button now. A forward and back arrow, those push through different events. We have some speed controls. There's a place to add music. There's so many goodies in here. Plus this giant list now. We have 20 of them across the top. Those are where all of your replay clips are actually going to be housed. So once we create a replay event, you'll see it pop up right there in our event list number 1, which is selected blue. So let's do that now. Let's make a replay event using our -5 and -10 buttons. So I'm going to select the -5 or -10 button once this play is completed. It looks like he ran there, and that's about a 5 seconds. So I'm going to hit 5 seconds now, and you'll see that it created a new replay event. Now currently I am in the live mode. You can tell that by this red button that says live right here. Now remember, we're looking at replay channel A in our preview window. So that'll give you a good idea of what I'm working with. We're going to uncheck the live button, and you'll see all of a sudden we're right back to seeing our recorded replay event. You'll see that there is a play last replay event button and a play events button. There's actually a little drop down here where you can play all or the selected event or each angle. So this is where you could actually play a bunch of these clips if they were in here. But we're just going to use our play last event. So that means this one that's selected, it's the most recent one we created. When we hit this little play last button, it's going to use our input transition to use a stinger to bring on our replay event. So it's going to play that out to the world. Once it's done, it plays its 5-second clip. It's going to use that same stinger transition to transition back to what's in program. If you're not familiar with how to set up a stinger, you can check out one of the videos on how to create stingers and how to set those up. So let's hit our last replay event button and see what happens. If everything's set up right, we should be able to hit our button and it just works like magic. So let's hit our button and boom, there it goes, transition. It's playing the last replay event we had and we're out. So it works. But it was a little short. I feel like we needed to stretch it out a little longer. So we could actually pick a different angle, or we could even change the duration time of this replay clip. Let me show you how to do that. So if our replay clip's selected, we can see it over here in preview. I'm actually going to go to the out point of this clip and I'm going to make it a little longer. So he gets tackled there and I'm just going to drag to maybe there. That looks great. The end point or the beginning point I feel like was fine. We're right at the hike of the ball. I'm actually going to use this little white square here to create another camera angle. So this is our second camera angle. Ooh, that's a tight shot. I kind of actually like that one a little better. So instead of using our camera 1 angle, let's just use our camera 2 angle, but we're going to uncheck this little white box, meaning that it's only going to play our camera 2 angle, not our camera 1. And let's see how that one looks now that we've done it. So we'll hit our replay button. So it's him kind of calling at the line, goes up, he gets the snap. There's the play in the middle, he gets tackled, boom, and we're out. And back to what's in preview. Another way that you can create a replay event other than using the -5, -10 buttons is using an in and out point. Now you can see I'm in the live mode here. Our replay channel A is over here, and I'm going to mark an end point right there on the hike. And it looks like he's running around the end. Oh, he lost a shoe and he's down. I'm going to mark an out point. So we use the mark in and out point buttons to create this replay event. You can see here that it added our in point and our out point with the duration of 9 seconds. And all we would have to do now is hit our autoplay last replay event button and it would play right out with our stinger transition to our output. So we created our very first replay event and it looks fantastic and super professional using the transitions that we set up. And it's really that easy to create an event and get started with vMix Replay. If you have any questions or trouble, feel free to shoot an email to support@vmix.com and they'll be able to answer any questions you have about vMix. So I hope you enjoyed the video. There will be a part 2 going over more advanced features. So be sure to check that out once you feel like you've got this under your belt.